WAGA-TV Atlanta. John Marler, Brenda Wood, Ken Cook, weather, Jeff Hollinger, sports, and the Eyewitness News team. This is Channel 5 Eyewitness News at 6.
Good evening. John Marler has the night off. The long-awaited audit of church money given to Vicki Long is finished, completed. The church says the massive audit clears Archbishop Eugene Marino of misusing Catholic church funds in the Atlanta Archdiocese. But auditors did total more than $20,000 in church money spent on Ms. Vicki Long, and her attorney says it could easily be much, much more. Investigative reporter Dale Russell, who broke this story, has more.
For 2 years as the nation's first black Archbishop, Eugene Marino lived a double life. One as the beloved leader of the Atlanta Archdiocese, a second as the secret lover of a Riverdale woman, Vicki Long. Marino resigned suddenly this year, the church citing health problems as the reason. But an Eyewitness News investigation uncovered the secret affair, and soon acting Bishop James Light called for an independent audit of all church money spent on Vicki Long. The church did not release the full audit, but there was an article detailing the audit's findings published in the Georgia Bulletin, a weekly Catholic newspaper. The audit shows that the Archdiocese paid Ms. Long close to $15,000 for medical services. The only other payment made by the Archdiocese was a $47 fruit basket sent to Ms. Long. The rest of the money came from the accounts of 2 local parishes. Father Michael Woods, while pastor of St. John's in Hapeville, gave over $5,000 to Ms. Long, including money for loan payments, utilities, rent, and cash. Father Woods claims he was sexually involved with Vicki Long, a claim she has denied. Also, the audit shows that St. Pius X Parish provided over $1,300 to Ms. Long. St. Pius priest, Father John Walsh, has admitted to providing her money, but has denied having any personal involvement with Vicki Long.
We are relieved that this particular part of the episode has come to an end, that we can confidently report that church funds have been handled in a responsible manner, especially on the part of the Archdiocese of Atlanta.
It is true that I have received and am receiving church money.
From the first time Vicki Long talked, she has contended that Archbishop Marino supported her with church money, first at this press conference in August, then later in October. Long met to reconcile with church attorneys. She agreed to cooperate with their financial investigation and spelled out in detail how Marino supported her. Her attorney, John Capo, says from what he knows, the results from the audit are surprising. From what she has told you to believe that there was more money that was spent on her that does not show up in the audit?
From what she has told me, that's my understanding.
Dale Russell is here now. As we said, he first broke this story about Archbishop Eugene Marino and Vicki Long. Does Vicki Long, who disputes the Catholic Church's audit, have any documentation?
Brenda, she claims that she does, but her attorney, John Capo, says that he's never seen the documentation. Interestingly enough, he says that the church never asked for it during their audit. Now, besides Vicki Long, the other person with firsthand knowledge of the financial side of the affair is Archbishop Eugene Marino. But Father Dora says auditors never bothered to talk with Marino.
Okay. And did they give a reason for why they did not talk with him?
He says that they wanted to stay as impartial as possible.
All right, Dale, thank you. Well, the affair with Vicki Long, admitted or alleged by Archbishop Eugene Marino and 2 other priests, came as a shock to Catholics everywhere. The scandal hit especially hard in the metro area where the priests were known personally. But based on interviews we've conducted, Catholics express anger at Vicki Long and sympathy for the priests. Channel 5's Jim Kazurski has more on this story.
I met Archbishop Marino a couple times, and he made me feel closer to the church than most of any of the other priests I met. So it was a disappointment to us, but they are human and they make mistakes.
Gene Robinson's feeling characterizes what most Catholics we've talked to feel about the Vicki Long affair. They believe Archbishop Eugene Marino and other priests linked to Miss Long were good men who gave in to temptation or were simply taken in. In Conyers, St. Pius X pastor John Walsh came forward last September to say he had given Vicki Long $1,345 over a 2-year period beginning in August 1987. Father Walsh, according to the Archdiocese, said he did not know anyone else was helping her. The pastor was unavailable today, but a church office worker said there was nothing new revealed in today's audit, and she considered the matter closed. Father Michael Woods, formerly assigned to St. John the Evangelist Church in Hapeville, says he had an affair with Miss Long. She denies it, but church records show more than $5,000 was paid to her out of the St. Vincent de Paul Charity Fund. Here at St. John's today, I asked several parishioners for on-camera interviews. All refused. But off-camera, one man said the whole Marina Long affair was ridiculous and that the whole truth would never be known. A woman said she trusted the Catholic Church no matter what. And a second woman said she believed Father Woods was a good priest and a good man, and that Vicki Long victimized both Father Woods and Archbishop Marino. Father Woods was pastor of St. Jude's in Sandy Springs when the Marina Long affair became a full-blown public scandal. He resigned and apologized by letter to parishioners for his alleged involvement with Ms. Long. But Kayla Laraway still thinks well of the priest.
I support St. Jude's. I don't know too much about the other churches, but I support Father Woods and St. Jude's. He was a good priest. He made a mistake.
Jim Kazurski, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Vicki Long was not available for comment today, and former Archbishop Eugene Marino remains in seclusion and has yet to comment on his involvement with Ms. Long. A hearing today in Ware County for the third man accused of murdering Kimberly Wallace. 62-year-old Jack Wallace, the estranged husband of the victim, appeared before a municipal court judge today in Waycross. The Powder Springs chiropractor, seen here yesterday as he turned himself in to Cobb Police and was arrested, was officially charged with murder. Authorities say they believe Kimberly Wallace was the victim of a contract killing. The woman's nude body was found last week stuffed in a toolbox aboard a plane that landed in Waycross. The two men in that plane are also charged with her murder. In this season of forgiving, a Douglasville family gives new meaning to the word compassion. The children of a woman killed during a teenage prank embrace one of the young men charged in her murder. Their message, all is forgiven. Channel 5's Randy Travis has this remarkable story.
Are you pleading guilty because you are in fact guilty? Yes.
It was a scene that stunned even the most seasoned of courtroom observers. 19-year-old Eric Prince pleaded guilty to throwing a rock off an interstate overpass, a rock that killed 31-year-old Judy Smale as her car passed below. But after the hearing, as Prince left the courtroom, the victim's twin daughters asked to see him.
They went into the room with Eric, the boy that's responsible for the death of their mother, and they hugged him for several minutes, and they cried with him, and they told him they forgave him. It's the most remarkable thing I've seen.
We know that he did something wrong, but he didn't go down there to plan on killing my mom. I mean, that's just what happened as a result of...
Both daughters witnessed their mother's death. They were sitting in the back seat with 3 other children when the boulder came crashing through. Their father was behind the wheel. He drove Mrs. Smale to a nearby hospital, but it was too late. When authorities finally picked up Eric Prince last month, he told them he was haunted by what happened on this bridge. He often thought about suicide, and he thanked detectives for his arrest. But today, Eric Prince and his family left without talking to reporters. He'll be eligible for parole in 7 years.
I think he should have to go to jail and everything because he deserves punishment for what he did. I mean, everybody does wrong, everybody gets punished, but
no need for us to be hostile toward him, you know? We're all human. We all make mistakes.
They must still wait for the trial of Eric Wall, also charged in the case. But for now, the Smale family is trying to make it through next week, their first Christmas without their mother.
We were just all making cards, and then this morning we found a card that my little sister wrote, and it said, "Merry Christmas," and it was cut out in a heart. And then it says, "To my mommy, who died from those boys."
For this family, forgiving is much easier than forgetting. In Douglasville, Randy Travis, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
According to Prince's taped confession, it was Waugh's idea to throw the rock, but Prince actually committed the act. The Smales say they plan to visit Prince tomorrow and bring him a Bible. Now, the latest on the crisis in the Persian Gulf today. In Washington, former British Prime Minister Edward Heath testifies before Congress. Heath tells the lawmakers the U.S. should hold off declaring war against Iraq because the cost of conflict would be high on both sides. At the White House, President Bush meets with members of Congress, telling them he's now more committed than ever to ending the crisis. The president promises to, quote, kick Iraq's ass, end quote, if the crisis erupts into war. In London, a young former hostage in Iraq is honored. 5-year-old Stuart Lockwood was given a Children of Bravery Award by the Duchess of York. The reason for the award? Little Stuart refused to cooperate with Saddam Hussein in a meeting between the Iraqi leader and a group of hostages. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock today, Eastern Airlines faced with a major reshuffling of pilots after a federal court ruling. Also tonight, students and teachers watch part of their school burn. And investigators doubt this fire is an accident. Plus, the outcry in a Fulton County neighborhood over providing a home for the homeless.
Just in time for the holidays, Robert's incredible holiday super values on camcorders. Prices have never been lower on Sony and RCA 8mm camcorders. Full-size VHS camcorders from names you know and trust, including RCA, Panasonic, Sylvania, Sharp, and more. Plus, use your Robert's credit card and get 90 days no interest. Unequaled service, name brand quality, guaranteed low prices. Robert's, America's name brand headquarters.
Cody gift sets at Walmart.
I knew he was the one. Tall and slender, a little rough around the edges.
A gift of Stetson. Cologne, spray, or aftershave. $8.86 at Walmart. Or the Lady Stetson American Body Beautiful gift set. $11.97 at Walmart. The exclamation gift set. $9.97 at Walmart. Overall, you always save more on the gifts you want. Walmart.
Perfect in every way.
Always.
Now, back to the 12th annual Toyotathon Coast to Coast with America's lowest price sedan, Tercel, starting at just $64.88. Or you can lease it with a special limited time offer. Drive a 91 Tercel with no down payment for just $119 a month. Only $119 a month for Toyota's best mileage car. The new 91 Tercel. Buy it or lease it. Just don't let it pass you by. With 13 other Toyota models under $10,000 and a great selection. Now's the time to deal. Toyotathon, the event of the year. Don't miss it.
A federal appeals court hands a victory to Eastern Airline pilots who've been trying for more than a year now to get back behind the controls of Eastern planes after ending a job walkout. The court has ruled that Eastern is obligated to put those pilots first in line for jobs before hiring any new pilots. Channel 5's Paul Yates has details.
Tonight, Eastern Airlines is faced with recalling scores of veteran pilots who've been battling for their jobs. Word came to pilots today at their union office. The 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld a lower court decision saying Eastern is required to reinstate returning strikers prior to giving jobs to newly hired pilots who are in training.
You know, there are pilots who have got many, many years and who love the corporation a lot, and they left the property for what they thought were good philosophical reasons, and now the courts are saying that they have the rights to those jobs.
Today's ruling is the latest chapter in a long struggle for Eastern pilots. They walked out in March of 1989 in a show of sympathy with striking machinists. Pilots left the picket line before the end of the year, but Eastern said no jobs were available to former strikers. About 50 of the former strikers were brought back to work a few months ago, including Chuck Fawn.
I'm glad to hear that we're going to have more pilots recalled. I feel it's their jobs that they're coming back to, and I feel they deserve them.
Eastern has argued that trainees are permanent replacements for those who walked out. But the Pilots Association contended that unless their training was complete, replacement pilots could not take jobs of returning strikers. Association leaders say today's court ruling could clear the way for 200 to 800 pilots to return to work, many of them in Atlanta.
And so they've been on the outside now watching and hoping to be able to get a chance to go back on the corporation and to be able to build the corporation and to have a hand in rebuilding it to the once magnificent corporation that it was.
Tonight, pilots whose prospects for returning to jobs seem brighter must also wonder if the financially ailing airline they hope to rejoin will survive. Paul Yates, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
An Eastern Airlines spokesman did not return calls today from Eyewitness News. The airline could appeal the court ruling, but the union says the process of recalling pilots to work would have to begin while the appeal is underway. A huge 3-alarm blaze hit Douglas County High School just before dawn this morning, tying up firefighters for 6 hours and gutting part of the school. Someone driving by the school saw the flames just after 6:30, and it wasn't long before the scene was an inferno. The fire destroyed the old Mashburn building, which had been vacant for some time and is slated for demolition next month to make way for a $12 million expansion. The flames did not spread to classrooms or offices. Arson, though, is suspected. The school janitor says someone's been breaking in regularly.
I've never found nobody in the building whatsoever, but we found the door open and the lights are on.
A crowd of students and teachers gathered across the street and watched the blaze. It took firefighters 6 hours to douse the flames completely. Students at Douglas High got out for a Christmas break on Tuesday, and we are told that there will be classes as normal after the holidays. A plan to use the old Fulton County Jail for a homeless shelter has evoked an outcry from the nearby Knight Park community. The plan, voted on in October, would house 125 people in the old jail beginning the first of the year. But Channel 5's Russ Jamison is here to tell us not everyone is cheering the plan. Russ?
Brenda, Knight Park is an older community whose members say is slowly growing younger. People are moving in and renovating. They say they've lived with the old jail and the new jail, and now adding homeless to the mix is just too much.
Imagine the old Fulton County Jail as a homeless shelter. That's the plan. With some renovation and work, the county hopes to open it up near the end of this month to 125 people. Sounds like a good use for public property, but just ask these people what they think. Homeless, yes. Bums, no.
But do I feel for a bum, for someone who chooses to spend their whole life laying up drunk? No, sir, I'm sorry, I don't. Not in the least.
Elaine Falone and Gail Holliday are the new and old of this community. Falone recently moved into the neighborhood. Gail Holliday's family has spent 5 generations here. And they think the idea of reusing the jail is a slap at their community. Already bordered by industrial parks and the new jail, they think taking on another of the city's social burdens is just too much.
It just bothers me that I don't feel safe to walk at night, you know, on the street, and I don't feel safe to let my grandchildren play outside anymore unless I'm out there with them.
It's been very frustrating because we feel as though there's been a total lack of due process. We were not afforded any hearing, and we were basically told that their minds were made up in advance, and so we were wasting our time even trying to get one because they have eminent domain.
The search for a new homeless facility came when the decision was made to close the Rising Star Shelter. The shelter sits in the shadows of the Georgia Dome and will soon come tumbling down. In October, the Fulton County Commission voted to renovate the old jail, allowing homeless people to sleep in the old chapel, administrative offices, and rec rooms. The commission had surveyed all surplus Fulton County property, selecting the old jail.
So everyone in all of Fulton County should be on the alert that this too could happen to them if there's any Fulton County-owned property in their neighborhoods.
Now, the city and the county are splitting the cost of the renovation and utilities. It'll be staffed with people from the old Rising Star Shelter. I tried very hard to get a Fulton County commissioner to talk with us about this issue, but none were available. Gordon Joyner, who represents the area, told me today he was too busy to talk.
All right. Sure, we have not heard the last of it.
No.
Thanks, Russ. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6 today, Paul Osman on whether this chilly drizzle will usher in the first day of winter for us. But first, a former human shield spreads holiday cheer to the needy.
If you have a child and he's getting a bike, get him a helmet too, because bike accidents can be serious. A holiday message from Eggleston, the Children's Hospital at Emory University. If you have a child and you have a car, you need a car seat, because car seats save children's lives. A holiday message from Eggleston, the Children's Hospital at Emory University.
Like a dream you call to me, in my heart you stay with me, your warm ways touched my soul, and the memories unfold. Ooh, you stay with me, Mexico. You stay with me, Mexico.
Due to excess inventory, GMC Truck is holding a model closeout. This is a limited time program to reduce inventory levels on 1990 Sierra pickup trucks only. The program includes $500 cash back or a competitive finance rate for qualified buyers, plus a special cash value incentive direct to dealers. Come in today and make your best deal on a 1990 Sierra pickup while supplies last. GMC Truck, it's not just a truck anymore, it's quality on the road.
Former Iraqi hostage Richard Iliff and the entire General Motors plant in Doraville are spreading Christmas cheer. Iliff is a General Motors executive who was held hostage in the Middle East for 4 months. Now, he and hundreds of others are distributing food and toys to more than 400 needy Atlanta area families. Iliff says the donations total about $29,000 in goods. Earlier this year, 1,600 Doraville GM employees were laid off. Volunteers say the car industry may be hurting, but it isn't dampening the spirit of giving during the holidays. Paul Osmond here for Ken Cook is taking a few days off for the holidays. You're already in the holiday spirit. I heard you talking about a duel coming up tomorrow between you and Jim Axel.
Jim Axel and I have dueling ties, musical ties. Can you hear that sound right now? That's
fun for everyone.
That's people setting their VCRs for tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Can you hear that?
All right, I'm gonna be looking.
We have some cooler temperature, which is good news for Christmas. We're not going to get the snow, of course, but temperatures are going to be more seasonable. Temperatures right around 50 degrees for high temperatures, lows in the 30s, and the rain and the drizzle will leave just in time for the holiday spirit. Current conditions at the airport, drizzle and fog developing. Seems like we've been saying that for the past day, 2 days or so, and we're going to say it tomorrow as well. Humidity is high. Winds are out the east at 23. We have a rising pressure. Today's high temperature was 54 degrees. Morning low of 45. Still 6 above normal. Record high, record low, sunrise and sunset. Across the southeast, we'll notice that system that has moved through our area now is causing some showers to north of metro Atlanta. What is causing this is the stationary front is beginning to wiggle. It still is well south of Atlanta, but still is providing some clouds, some drizzle for North Georgia and beginning to move out. In the south, they've had temperatures today 75 degrees. For us, it's been right around 45 to 50 degrees. Now, this warm front will begin to move to the north, and what that means is we're going to notice an increase in our temperature for tomorrow, right around 60 degrees. Also, some on and off drizzle and fog. That's going to be the story until a system to our northwest by tomorrow beginning to move through. As it moves through, we'll notice some cooler air. Don't expect cooler air till sometime Monday and Tuesday. That's the next time we'll see lots of sunshine as well. Monday and Tuesday will be a day with partly to mostly sunny skies. High temperatures right around 50, lows right around 35 to 40 degrees, which is about average for this time of year. So if you have plans for Christmas, looks like it's going to be sunny. Looks like temperature's going to be right around 50 degrees. So your forecast for tonight going to be drizzly and fog. If you're traveling, please be careful. Low temperatures aren't going to move too much, between 45 and 50 degrees. When you wake up tomorrow, it's going to be chilly, cloudy, maybe some drizzle around, temperature near 50. Tomorrow, it's going to be warmer. As that warm front begins to move to the north, temperatures are going to rebound to near 60 degrees. Christmas Day is in the Channel 5-day forecast. It's Tuesday, high temperature of 47 degrees, low of 35. And there you have it for the holiday season, all in an extended forecast just for you.
All right.
And you.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
We appreciate you going out of your way to do that for us. Thanks, Paul. Coming up next on Eyewitness News today, walking papers for yet another NBA coach. Bill Hartman with that story, plus a look at one incredible basketball game, a battle between Georgia and Georgia Tech.
Now's a great time to buy or lease a new car. With all the deals on the 90s and the safety features of the 91s, you won't find a better time to buy or lease than right now. See your Metro Atlanta dealer.
Beaver Creek Resort, Colorado. To make reservations, call 1-800-525-2257.
Presenting a way to make life a lot simpler. The Clapper. Turn on a lamp. Turn on the music. Turn off the TV. Use it anywhere you need a helping hand.
Simple.
Plug it in and insert the plug from just about anything.
Simple. Clap on, clap off. Clap on, clap off. The Clapper.
Give it a big hand.
The Clapper is available at Eckerd, Woolworth, McCrory, and participating Ace Hardware stores.
I bought Jane's ring at the mall. It was half off. Like $900 for a full half-carat ruby.
I tried them all with 10 jewelers first, but bought from the Shane Company. No phony sales. And I only paid $800.
I didn't like the pink or purple rubies, which is all the mall stores had. I remembered Tom saying on the radio that his rubies are a true red. So Fred and I drove across town to the Shane Company.
I must not have heard that ad.
Apparently.
Oh, stop.
Looking ahead now to Eyewitness News tonight at 11, a dramatic rescue from an icy pond. A 10-year-old boy crashes through the ice while walking to school. A friend cannot pull him to safety, but summons those who can. The extraordinary rescue coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. Right now, we're going to turn to Bill Hartman sitting in for Jeff Hullinger, who's also taking some time off for Christmas. And the first thing my daughter says to me this morning is, "Mommy, Georgia won." I said, "No, Georgia Tech
Got
to get it straight.
Just an incredible game. I thought I was going to be late for the 11 o'clock show last night. It went 3 overtimes. One more, and I might have had to come back early, and it would have been a shame. One of the most exciting and exhausting games I've ever seen. Georgia had it won 3 times, only to have a Tech player make a heroic shot to send it into another overtime. In the end, Tech's All-American guard Kenny Anderson had played all 55 minutes of the triple overtime. Jackets had a 112-105 win at a sold-out Omni. Here's how Tech sends it into the first overtime. Less than a second on the clock when Matt Geiger is fouled, goes to the line, hits one of the 1-and-1, and it's 82-82. In the overtime, Dogs were about to win, then Brian Demolick hits the 3-point jumper to send it into another OT period.
They were planning to get the ball to Kenny, and he was going to get a 3, but I knew it was a 3 because I knew I was out of NBA range.
It went. Now in the second overtime, Georgia's got it won until Kenny Anderson hits that one to send it into a third overtime period. And that's where the Jackets pulled away. Anderson in to Geiger. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets have won 112-105.
Too bad it couldn't be 2 winners at the end, but Georgia played an extremely well game. Like Coach said, I got very exhausted. I was ready to hang it up second overtime, but Coach just said, you know, stick with it.
I just hope this city and this state enjoy that game because that's one of the greatest basketball games I've been involved with. I thought we had won, then I thought we had lost. It was an incredible basketball game, and Georgia played tremendous. I know they're very disappointed they lost, but they couldn't play any better.
NBA, Atlanta Hawks take on the Jazz tonight at the Omni. Hawks are hot. They've moved into 4th place in the Central Division, only 5 games back of the Bucks. The Pacers are off to a 9-16 start in that division, and today it cost Coach Dick Versace his job. He is out, and his assistant, Bob Hill, is the new coach. Here's Indiana team president Donnie Walsh.
Doesn't seem like those problems are getting resolved. So basically, we're going to make this change in the hope that we can get our team going in the right direction, get on a winning course.
Boston Celtics continued to lead the Atlantic Division. Celtics beat the 76ers last night, 115-105. And old man Larry Bird had 24. Look at the 3. Celtics running the break. It'll be Shaw to Bird to Kevin McHale. Nice pass. McHale with 23, and that's how Boston beat Philadelphia. More comings and goings. University of Miami Athletic Director Sam Jankovic has been named Chief Executive Officer of the New England Patriots, one of the most troubled franchises in any sport. Jankovic was a great success at the University of Miami. Now he's in New England.
What they need and what they're going to get is direction. They're going to get leadership. They're going to be enthusiastic, because enthusiasm is contagious.
He may be the man that can do it. College football, Georgia has hired Louisiana Tech offensive coordinator Steve Emsminger as quarterback coach for the Bulldogs. He's a former LSU quarterback. And the Atlanta Braves have re-signed free agent pitcher Charlie Leibrandt to a 3-year contract. He was 9-11 last year with an ERA of 3.16, which isn't bad on that team.
All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. That is it for this edition of Eyewitness News. We want to thank you for joining us. For the news team, I'm Brenda Wood. CBS Evening News is coming up next, and we'll see you again tonight at 11. Until then, have a good evening, everyone.